Welcome back to the Vainglory China Invitational. My name is Wolf. With me is Valdez. We're going into day 2 in Group B.
Yeah, we just made it through a very long day 1. Lots of big games. I think there were obvious favorites towards the end. At the end of it all, we did have DMG and ETW making it through. Those are the two teams, at least DMG, we knew was almost definitely going to make it through, just having a lot of favorite players. But today, going into today, we have some information. You know, we've got our sheets here, we did a little bit of research, but we're not so sure who's going to make it through this time around.
Mostly what we know about these teams is who's on them and what their personalities are like, but we don't know that much about their skill level just yet. But let's take a look at the overview for the tournament and, of course, today's matches to, show you guys what the format is as well as the prize pool and things of that nature. So let's take a look at that overview. Of course, this is called the Vainglory China Invitational. If you're tuning in for the first time, we have a round-robin group stage. We already had Group A yesterday. Today we're going to have Group B. The semifinals are going to be in a double elimination format, best of 3, and then the finals, of course, are going to be a best of 5.
Yeah, and obviously a lot of money on the line, as well as a seed into the VIPL Season 2, which is, of course, run by OGN over here in Korea. That features the best teams all around the world. It is the Vainglory International Premier League, so that, I think, is the main thing, as well as, of course, 200,000 RMB. So a lot on the line for all these teams playing in this tournament.
That's about $70,000 or so. We could see your teams down at the bottom. We did have DMG and ETW advance from Group A, but we'll be seeing and meeting some new teams today coming out of Group B. Of course, 2 of those to advance as well. And those 4 teams will go to the semifinals. So a really cool tournament we've got lined up here. It's been a lot of fun so far seeing how Group A worked out. But Group B today is going to have MusTang, CNL, Delta, and TVT as our 4 teams.
Yeah, some fun names in there. Taking a look at exactly how these matches are going to go down. It's going to be MusTang versus TVT, then MusTang versus Delta. Then we go for match 3 into CNL versus Delta.
That's right. So after that, we're going to have CNL versus TVT, Delta versus TVT, and then the last match of the evening will be MusTang versus CNL. So should be a lot of fun today. And I'm hoping that we're going to see, some of the teams in this second group, try to live up to what we've seen already from DMG and ETW, and maybe a little bit less of kind of what we saw from IDO yesterday, just not quite living up to expectations.
Yeah, I hope we get at least teams that, understand what's going on in the pro scene at least and know what to do. We definitely saw a lot of that from DMG. I would have to say probably the best team we've seen so far and the favorite to win the entire thing.
Yeah.
We could be proven wrong today. Maybe there's a team that's maybe on their level. There's a team here, CNL, actually, that says they've been together for a very long time. They're the top of the ladder. They've played together for a long time. So I'd probably expect them to be one of the better teams here in this group.
That's right. A lot of people have a lot of expectations for MusTang as well because they have a female player, Susu, the only female player in this invitational. Queen from Hunter is definitely the more famous and more popular female player. A more successful female player, but let's see how Susu does today. She can prove herself because I know a lot of fans are really looking forward to her play.
Yeah, and what we've heard, MusTang also is a big guild in China. They have a lot of players, so obviously practicing within and with each other. So I would expect them to at least, have some experience playing scrims, something of that nature.
Yeah.
And if they have a lot of players and these are the 3 that they pick, then they're probably going to be at least decent Vainglory players.
Sure, no doubt. And again, these players, some of these teams are just recently formed as an official 3-player team, but they've practiced with each other for a long time. Some of these players have been playing since Vainglory's initial release on iPad, right? And, on all devices as well. There is Susu, in fact, talking about some of these players. She is the roam player for MGT. And as you can see, likes to play Arden as well as Catherine, the 2 most popular characters for this position.
Yeah, I think we only saw Arden and Catherine besides that Finn pick that I think we saw once in terms of roam players. Of course, Monkey on the other side in the roam position playing for TVT, which stands for Tireless Valor Team, also plays Catherine and Arden, although the Catherine is in front, so maybe he's more of a Catherine player. We'll have to wait and see.
This player here, I believe, is also from MusTang. That's right. It's Wang, lane/jungle, so kind of splitting up the roles. You can see Plays a little bit of Arden as well, which is normally more of your roam support type player. And then you've got Ringo and Vox as well, the more lane types. We have seen Vox in the jungle before.
As well as Arden. We actually saw that one time yesterday. Had decent success. I don't think the team won, but it turned out all right. And in terms of the jungle player on the opposite side for TVT, it is Queller. Likes to play Jewel and actually Celeste, which is interesting.
Likes to quell your fears.
Yeah, he's the queller of all fears.
You know, he likes to quell those fears about his champions that he plays. Now, last but not least here, we have Zarks for MusTang. Lane and jungle. Looks like more of it in the jungle with Catherine Arden. And then, of course, the Ringo pick for lane. We have not yet seen Ringo in this tournament. He was a lot more popular earlier this year.
Yeah. Kind of interesting. Also, Arden and Catherine, I believe, was there, which is, you know, generally, I guess maybe he plays in the jungle. We could see Catherine lane. On the other side, interesting picks here as well. I believe that's Taka and Glaive for the lane. So we've seen Glaive lane before. It's, you know, not out of this world to see something like that from time to time. But a Taka lane is pretty rare these days.
Yeah, we don't ever really see that anymore. I mean, you might see that in solo queue, but it is, in fact, pretty rare. So, you know, these two teams, we're going to find out. This is the first time they've ever played broadcasted matches. How good they are. They're going to be tested against each other. This is just the beginning of the group. We won't really know until after our third match exactly where all these teams stand in relation to each other once we get halfway through the evening. So now that we know a little bit more about these players, I don't really think I can give an edge to either team just because we simply only know their play styles, but not really what their skill level is.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the information that we have on both these teams, it says that Team MusTang it was one of the first teams that was ever formed in terms of Chinese Vainglory, and for TVT, they were formed in March. So these two teams have been around for a long time. In terms of which one I would have to predict, I'd say maybe TVT, just because it says like they're a team of three that have stuck together for a long time, whereas MusTang is more of like a guild type thing. They pick three players that don't necessarily always play together all the time. Maybe they don't have that big of experience, whereas maybe TVT has played some online cups and stuff of that nature.
Yeah, that's definitely something that could be the case. I think that, you know, this is, again, such a cool tournament because we find out these new teams, these new personalities, these new players that we haven't seen just yet, with the exception of some other players like Godfather that we've seen before in the VIPL, who played yesterday and did incredibly well. Well, let's jump into our first draft, and with all the Ringos that we saw here, we are going to see Ringo get banned out here first, as well as Sky.
Yeah, we saw some incredible Sky play yesterday out of Godfather. He made that hero look really, really strong. And interesting that they do ban it out here, especially because I didn't see any of the players from MusTang have him as like a hero that they use a lot of the time.
Well, we are going to see WLAN run Jewel. Jewel has played a few times yesterday with limited success on IDO. And we're going to see Arden, of course, locked in for both sides. Queller is going to be running Celeste in the lane, whereas Zarks is going to take Scarf. And then we are going to see that Koshka pick as well.
Kind of interesting that we see double Arden here as well. We saw it from a lot of the top teams, like the better teams, they would always pick Arden. Seems to be that's the meta these days, especially in China. So that really leads me to believe that maybe these two teams are going to be more on equal footing, rather than giving either team the advantage here.
Sure. Well, here we go. Starting things off. It is going to be Susu on Arden, in fact. Everyone's liking that
roam position.
Yeah, everyone's liking that Arden skin, by the way. I've seen it a lot.
Yeah.
It's my favorite one as well.
It's pretty cool.
He looks pretty dangerous.
Yeah. I like the robot one, actually, as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the exact name of that is, but... also interesting, I want to point out that we do see Waln or WLAN. I'm not sure, the name keeps changing, but...
It's like short for walnut.
Yeah, could be. Yeah. we've seen stranger things, Wolf, okay?
Like if you press Control F on the dictionary, man, and you type that in, walnut, I'm pretty sure is the only word that would that could become, or come from those first starting letters.
Someone could prove you wrong and tweet at you. We'll see. But kind of interesting that we do see the Jewel pick instead of Koshka. I mean, Koshka has been a huge favorite in this tournament, and just in patch 1.10. it's kind of a pick that you almost always have to pick up if it's not banned. And because it wasn't banned, we do see MusTang pick it up. But Jewel, I mean, maybe it's a comfort pick for this guy.
Well, we're going to have a little bit of a skirmish here in the lane. Wong takes a lot of damage, but it looks like overall they're just going to disengage. Definitely the better trades for TVT, but not a massive advantage either way, both going back to just farming in the lane and in the jungle. It's kind of a funny little skirmish there. It was almost like it looked like we were going to see a gank attempt from TVT, so MusTang did react, but it just ended up being a short 3v3 skirmish, no big commitments. Both these teams are playing more towards the Chinese style of playing defensively. And as we talked about yesterday, if you're just tuning in, that's not normally the Chinese style for esports, but for Vainglory, these teams are playing very carefully overall.
Yeah, just sitting back, farming the jungle. We did see that a lot from the top teams as well. DMG in particular, they don't really try to go for these big risky plays where they're trying to get one kill and stuff like that. It's more profitable if you're just doing cycles around the jungle. You look for a gank if it's there, but you're not trying to force anything. You're just overall getting as much gold as possible on the map at any given time.
Scarf is very safely positioned here, notice, in the lane. There's no way they're going to be able to come and gank him. He also knew, because they saw them and the jungle shop, where these guys were coming from, so he knew he couldn't actually be up at that halfway point, that midway point of the lane, so he stayed back. And as a result, you know, a little bit slower farm here for TVT in the jungle with that attempt. You know, the only other thing they could have done would have been just to simply go back to the jungle faster, but they made that attempt and
we have a... Sorry to cut you off. We have a Stormguard banner on Zarx, the Scarf player. Not exactly sure what's going on here. Well, this may be some kind of weird, very niche strategy that we're not in tune with. I know that there used to be a strategy where 3 people would get Stormguard banner and you would just rush down the lane and break down the turrets. You know, regardless of you dying or whatnot, you would be able to end the game because there was no barrier. But now there's a barrier, and I'm not exactly sure what he's going to be using that for. Maybe a Warhorn?
Yeah, it could be. You know, later on in the game for some chasing kills, we are going to see a little skirmish initiated here by MusTang. Unfortunately, not going to work out for them. In fact, Wong looks like he is going to go down. He jumps in, perhaps mistakenly, to the wrong side there, using his B, and is killed, you know, instantly there. Or rather, that was excuse me, Koshka that was killed there. Sorry, who jumped in?
MusTang Wong. Yeah, yes. That's his name. So yeah, just picking up a kill here, trying to see if they can steal any of the jungle. Nothing really spawning. They're going to be able to take this big creep over here, and then just move down and maybe get some of these smaller minions. Just go down to the shop and buy.
Again, you know, we see Scarf staying in the lane. And, you know, he does have that Stormguard banner, so maybe he's just trying to keep the lane pushed and constantly keep that pressure there. Oh, gonna take some serious damage on the scout trap, and they're way away from home right now. This could cause a big problem. Susu taking some serious damage here. She should be able to escape.
The other thing about Stormguard banner is that you do chunk down the minions a bit better, so you can, you know, auto attack and make sure you're getting all the last hits on the minions in the lane, but I don't see it as a profitable investment, if you will. You know, after all, I don't see how it's going to work out too much towards the later game. Scarf is generally pretty good about just AoEing down the lanes anyway with his abilities.
If they get the horn, you know, maybe, I mean, I've never seen this before, but I suppose, like, just conceptually, when Scarf uses his ult, his Dragon Breath, I guess he could then use the horn to make sure he can close the distance and actually do that damage if they're fleeing. That could be something that he's thinking about. I've just never seen it before.
Yeah, it could also provide some good escapability. We do see a nice little gank there. Jewel able to land that rocket leap into a core collapse. Pretty much no way you're ever going to get away from that if you were any kind of squishy laner. And that's going to open up the gold mine here for TVT.
Yeah, and at this level 5, for these damage throws, I think they should be able to get it pretty easily. Mustangs, Wongs, you might want to try to go for the steal.
Oh, actually gets it. Wow, if they could get out of here, that's going to be huge for MusTang. And they will.
Yeah.
There's no way that TVT can chase that. So really nice steal there, nice pickup by MusTang. Maybe a bit of a mistake for TVT to, maybe they should have turned on MusTang before they finished that off.
Yeah, I think they definitely had a little bit of indecisiveness there, and it's so risky to take the gold mine this early on in the game. Even when you're at level 5, you can burst it down so quickly. If anyone gets the idea that you're doing that, especially a mobile character like Koshka, you could just go and attempt to steal. It was very risky though for Koshka as well. If she had missed that steal, then she would have been dead almost for sure for no return.
Well, we do have both the laners here hitting level 6, so this is when the real fun begins. Not going to have many fights around the gold mine for a while, I believe, especially because it did just get taken. But you know, we could see maybe a jungle fight 2-on-2 go down here in a bit.
CS really even for the laners, despite Zark's actually picking up that Stormguard banner earlier on. He really affected that. We do see the lane is often pushed. It's not like he's getting a CS advantage from this. You know, we see everyone's kind of posturing around the lane right now. Definitely really good initiates on both sides. If Jewel can land a rocket leap, that would be really, really cool.
Yeah, Monkey taking a bit of poke damage from Zarks. Seems like MusTang overall just wants to play pretty passive around this, do not want to really fight here. If you will notice, we do have a minion mine that was taken by TVT already, so they do have a bit more pushing power. They can push back on that Stormguard banner scarf, as well as get just a bit more pressure in that lane so that they can maneuver a bit easier in the jungle.
It looks like MusTang is going to finally take their own minion mine to kind of counteract that and just head back to the jungle. Meanwhile, Scarf just continuing to push the lane as best as he can. And this is a really even game overall, one of the closer games you've had in this tournament. There is a small lead, 700 gold for TVT. A lot of people would argue their builds are better. Oh, look at that. Gauntlet being tossed down. Zarks is trapped, and he's forced to go the wrong way, and he will just get picked off instantly.
Yeah, this is part of what happens when you go for an early Stormguard banner. You don't have any gold to buy a reflex block, which you 100% need against this team. You need it for the gauntlet wall so that you don't get stunned. You need it for the rocket leap in case you get caught out. And you need it for core collapse as well. They have so many stuns and disables on that team that reflex block, I think, is a must-buy for Scarf. But just a well-timed gank before he was able to pick up that item.
Yeah. And he also, hold that thought, we're going to see a rocket jump here take out Susu as well. Even using big red button just to ensure the kill there. Maybe a bit overkill, but they took the gold mine back, and now they're moving towards the minion mine. Going to activate a scout trap here, but Wong is actually caught out, and he's going to have to just let this jungle farm go. Oh, nicely done. Takes it back before that. That was pretty cool. He's like, you can't have it.
So they're going to be able to take this minion mine here, so exert even more pressure on the lane, as well as they are up about 2k gold at this point in time. They were able to retake that gold mine as well. So all things looking in TVT's favor so far.
Yeah. A lot of regen now available to the team with that buy there from Taka, but this team comp overall for MusTang I thought was the better one, just because I think Jewel is a bit strange, but it's working out for them, and they have been able to get those rocket jumps.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the players, and I remembered that someone from TVT was good on Jewel, but that was Queller, who's actually playing Celeste in the lane, so not exactly sure. WALN actually likes to play Glaive and Taka, and was listed as a laner, even though on our sheet it says all around, so maybe, just liked it in this composition. As I said, just lots of disables.
Sure.
Definitely very good with Celeste, but generally in the past, like in 1.9, you used to see Celeste, Jewel, and Catherine, because Catherine is so easy, you can lock down a target for sure. It's not a skill shot, that stun. You could just run up to them and get a stun down, and if they reflex block that, you got a bunch of other stuns to follow it up. So also you couldn't reflex block while you were stunned, so you could chain stun them. And it was a lot of fun, that composition. But I guess Arden is just a bit better these days, and the composition is still pretty good with those two stuns.
Well, we are going to see a little bit of a skirmish here in the lane right now. Everyone on TVT moving together. And it looks like they're actually just going to back off, and it looks like WALN is going to buy, and Monkey buys instead. But yeah, I mean, some of the information that we have on these sheets as well could be somewhat outdated. It could have been sent like a few weeks ago, and now they've changed their play style. Or they say, oh, now I really like Jewel. And the other guy's like, oh, I don't really like Jewel that much anymore. He's better at Jewel than me.
I mean, as we said many times before yesterday, like this server only came out last week, so you know a lot of these teams maybe are playing on the new Chinese ladder. Some new meta stuff is happening over there that we don't know about, or these guys are trying new things that they prepared for this tournament because they really want to win. That's also a possibility.
Yeah.
But from what we learned about these two teams, they have been around for a while. So I would say it was just maybe some recent fine-tuning to their builds, if you will.
Notice that TVT has been able to pretty consistently steal the right side of the jungle, just taking some of those minion waves away, but not actually going too deep. I really like that. WLN also making sure to chain those bees together on Jewel. Quite hitting on that one, but there he goes. Get that hit on Wong. Just continuing to poke as best as he can. It's crazy to see the mist in Chinese. Did he miss or not? Well, that was a huge hit there, but there's no follow-up, so I'm not sure if that was worth it.
I don't know about that. That's a very easy back for Zarks, where he doesn't even really have to. He could just get Fountain of Renewal up, or, you know, it's kind of interesting that he would go for something like that. Maybe a bit of miscommunication, thought that the gauntlet was going to come down, stuff like that. But overall, it's just going to be a wasted Solar Star.
Yeah. That's a bit unfortunate. Obviously, has a long cooldown. Still 55 seconds left on that Solar Storm. And things are just, starting to, not snowball, but things are starting to be solidified here for TVT. Susu's actually going to buy, but things are going to get scary if they see her. No scout traps for either side here, unfortunately, so no opportunities. The gold mine is, I believe, about 2/3 mined right now as well. Oh, actually, nearly complete.
It's actually about to complete, yeah. And look at this, we do have a gauntlet coming down.
Yep, Susu is going to get the worst of it here. Does barely escape, and Scarf drops down his ult. We didn't get the best camera shot of that, but...
Can't really see much here, but getting really confusing on the house and fold right now. There we go.
All right, now we see the other gauntlet. It's just basically dodge there. Susu barely surviving. That heliogenesis there.
Now, if she has Solar Storm, it is about to come up, so could possibly go for it here if she wants.
If she aims it perfectly, but if she misses that again, it's like, oh, 2 wasted Solar Storms.
It's like the Hail Mary Solar Storm that you see a lot in solo queue. It's like, no, you probably shouldn't use it there. You should wait until you could hit all 3 and Arden's Gauntlet instead of wasting it and missing. But we do have Queller on Halcyon Fold, who's quite a decent player from what we've seen so far. Already up to 130 minion score.
Yeah.
So doing quite well.
Yeah, Zarks as well at 136, so pretty comparable, but just overall more impressive. I mean, he's got 3 kills. Zarks is 0-2, right? So not too helpful. And actually hits level 12 first. Zarks has been spending a lot more time in the lane. That's part of the reason why he has advantage in increased score despite having those 2 deaths and missed time in the lane. Color is dropping a lot of heliogenesis on the turret, which almost makes me believe that he's considering going back to get some more energy and buy. So I'm just going to go into the jungle instead.
Yeah, just thinking about what to do here. We do have the gold mine now nearing about halfway, so we do probably have MusTang thinking about how they're going to approach taking that or taking the next team fight here, as well as just farming their own jungles. So we'll just have to wait and see what these two teams want to do. It's obvious that Queller does want to push down this turret, and with all 3 of them grouping up here in the lane, this may be the next objective for TVT.
Yeah. Looks like that's how they're planning to do it. They're keeping the pressure away from the gold mine, in a sense using, the best defense is a good offense kind of idea here. Long is going to jump in here, right into the front of them, but Julia's going to get that big red button. 2 gauntlets go down, Wong gets caught, there's no follow-up. Here comes a really good Scarf ult, actually, but he doesn't want to get 2 up there on the front. He gets hit by that core collapse, but there's, again, no follow-up, so he can just walk away. And overall, obviously a better trade for TVT as they do kill Arden.
Yeah, that was a very well-timed Dragon's Breath, but I think about half of that was misaimed. Like, it wasn't even hitting anyone. So not quite the ultimate that he wanted. And look at this, Wong's trying to jump back in. They do have a lot of poke damage here with that Scarf, but I think the best they can do at this point. Well, we do have Monkey actually getting very low.
Yeah, they're trying to peel for him to try to save him here. Oh, sick. That was really cool. Monkey survives, but unfortunately, Jewel will go down. And I have to say, both of those fights are really, really aggressive and not not perfectly executed. There was definitely some mistakes on both sides, but ends up being not as one-sided for TVT as originally thought.
I like this camera shot when there's not much going on. We could see like the cool effects around the Celeste skin and stuff like that. But during a team fight, maybe not the best timing. Either way, I think they're just trying to show off how beautiful the game is and how well it is designed. So I guess it's all right, Wolf.
Notice that Susu clears the Kraken pit and also places her own scout trap there. So they have vision control of the Kraken right now, which is really important. And that's something that after that scout trap was cleared, that TVT will have to consider. Because right now, for all they know, the Kraken could be being taken. It would be pretty ridiculous to have two people there. But now Jewel is going down to check that as well as go into the shop.
You'll notice MusTang didn't have that second minion mine for a long time, so they were getting a bit of extra gold in the lane, and they've still done a very good job of defending their turret. They weren't really able to get them the gold mines, so they're trading off gold there for more gold in the lane, but here we go, another team fight.
Yep, double gauntlets here. Rocket Jump actually gets messed up by that gauntlet, in fact, so he doesn't actually get it off. And we do see Queller get very, very low, but Scarf picks up the first kill. Queller is going to go down, and it looks like this is actually going to be the first win here in a team fight for MusTang. They might even get an ace here if they can jump on top of WLAN. And I think they will be able to get it. One more jump, and there you go.
Yeah, there you go, Arden, for the follow-up. So that is going to be an ace going towards MusTang. So the team that I predicted to maybe not do as well is showing me up right now, evening it up in gold. And after they take this turret, going to get a bit ahead here.
Yeah, it looks like they may try to go for Kraken. I think it would be a bit too aggressive at this point, but I'm just going to push through the jungle. With Wong here, he can actually basically solo clear the jungle by himself very quickly. And at the same time, they are going to push down another turret. So really successful ace here now at 17 minutes and 48 seconds. And kind of a game changer, really.
Oh, yeah. That was a huge gold swing. I think they were like 2.5 to 3K gold behind. Now they're ahead about 1.5K. So really swinging that around and taking the lead for themselves. They were able to clear out the entire jungle. As you said before, they're able to place a lot of their own scout traps, get a huge amount of map control. They still haven't even lost their first turret in the lane.
Yeah. I like that you mentioned as well, because this is something that you can't really see in the UI. There's no real good way to just say, look at the CS and say, well, he's up 30 CS, but a ton of his CS was without the mini mine, like you said, so it's more gold than just looking at 194 really means. Even though he's 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3 right now, he's actually got a ton of extra gold that isn't shown in our UI at this moment in time, so it's something to keep in mind.
If you'll notice that he did sell the Stormguard banner, so maybe for a bit of extra pushing power as well as some health and health regen. I mean, it allowed them to keep the turret under wraps, I suppose.
Ooh, this might actually catch Susu here. Yeah, Scarf is going to have to drop his ult defensively to try to push them back. This means a follow-up fight could really go in TVT's favor. The Gauntlet goes down here to try to catch Queller, but he reflex box through. And a follow-up ult on top of him, but here comes the rocket jump to slow them. Monkey goes down. This is starting to look like a bad fight here for TVT. Queller falls, and down goes WALN. And that's another ace, and will definitely be another turret at the very least.
Yeah, that could even be game. I mean, we're already 20 minutes into this game. We'll see how fast they're going to be able to burn down these turrets. They do have a Scarf on their side. Let's see exactly how far they want to push this.
Yeah, looks like they are going to go for those Vein Crystal turrets. Going to get the left side first. And you know what? With 15 seconds left to go, I think they just kill the crystal here. I don't think there's any way they can defend it.
Well,
with the ace minion buff as well. That's going to be game here. So game number 1 going to go to MusTang. A very close game. A nice comeback as well. I have to say, I kind of prefer this style of game to what we saw yesterday. Very close, very exciting, and even a